Guys, something major is about to happen to the Ethereum network. After months of anticipation, the #1 smart contract platform and #2 cryptocurrency by market cap is about to undergo a massive network upgrade. That's going to take this technology one step further towards prime time and ultimately mass adoption. And in this video, I'm going to explain exactly what this upgrade is going to do and when it's going to take place so that you can mark your calendars. And finally, speculate on what this could do to the price of Ether. So trust me, you're going to want to pay attention to this if you're an ETH holder, if you're a developer, or if you're just interested in this space about where it's going and want to stay 2 steps ahead. I'm going to explain everything you need to know in this video today as a blockchain developer myself who works with this technology on a daily basis. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below and subscribe. If you want to see the absolute best way to increase your income in the blockchain industry, then the absolute best way to do that is to become a blockchain developer. And I can show you how to do that step by step from start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. All right, so let's get into this. Let's talk about this big Ethereum update that's going to happen very soon. Now, obviously, nothing I'm saying in this video is designed to be financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold any cryptocurrency based on this information. But let's start off with a quick background of Ethereum, okay? Because it's perhaps one of the most misunderstood blockchains out there. And that's because many just simply don't understand how it works or what its mission is, okay? So they just complain that Ethereum's too slow, it's too expensive, and then nobody's going to use it, but they're really missing the bigger picture. They don't understand that Ethereum that you use today is not the final form. It's actually on a journey towards something much bigger and better. So, Ethereum started off basically as a prototype when it launched, and it went through many upgrades in a decentralized fashion to get to where it is today, and it's going to go through several more upgrades before it reaches, where we actually want this thing to be. So we've seen things in the past like the introduction of layer 2 scaling to improve the speeds and transaction costs of Ethereum. Now, that's not directly on Ethereum, it's on this separate layer. But also like things like burning of Ether with EIP 1559 to make ETH deflationary in times of peak network activity. And also things like Ethereum 2.0, basically the major update to transition Ethereum from a proof of work blockchain to a proof of stake blockchain where you can basically lock your Ether up and earn passive income for doing that. That's the journey that it's been on. And it's got a few more upgrades slated in the pipe before it reaches its final form. And the next one is going to unlock some major changes very soon. So let's see what those are. So the next major Ethereum upgrade is going to be the Petra update. All right. So this is a set of changes that are going to be implemented into Ethereum very soon that's going to fundamentally change how the blockchain works. So let's look at what some of those changes are. So one of the most exciting things is going to be with smart wallets. All right. So let me explain what those are and how those work. So when you're using the blockchain now and you go to Etherscan and you look at like any transaction, okay, you're going to see an address, okay? Now, that address could belong to one of two things. It could belong to a wallet, like in MetaMask or Phantom, or it could belong to a smart contract that you're interacting with, okay? So both of these types of accounts have very similar properties where, wallets can hold money, they can make transactions, and smart contracts can also hold money, and they can also be part of transactions as well. But smart contracts don't have private keys, all right? But your wallets do. So what smart wallets do is basically enhance the features of your current wallet, all right? Things like your MetaMask wallet, your Phantom wallet, to get it to do things that it cannot do now and basically improve the user experience of wallets, but also give it some features that are going to enable blockchain use cases that we just currently don't have today. So basically what this does is it makes your wallet even better. It puts it on steroids. It makes it a super wallet. So this is what's called account abstraction. So without getting into all the details of how this works, let's talk about some of the benefits. All right. So one benefit is kind of some low-hanging fruit, which is basically the ability to batch transactions. So if you've ever used the blockchain, you've traded a token before on an Ethereum network and you're on like Uniswap and you have to go, approve the token and one transaction, then wait for that to finish and then basically trade the token and swap it. That's 2 different transactions. Well, with a smart wallet, you could basically batch these transactions and send them to the blockchain at the same time so that you don't have to do both of these steps. They can all happen in one go. So that's a huge win. Another thing is basically changing how your wallet works so that you can basically create a wallet or manage the access to a wallet without the traditional seed phrase. So one of the biggest problems is people have these seed phrases to their wallets and they lose them, or they don't store them properly, they get hacked. And so this is going to allow you to create new ways to authenticate with your wallet. That's going to make things much nicer, okay? Not to mention the fact that if you ever lost access to your wallet, you could actually implement things like social recovery, where other trusted people could basically help prove that your wallet is yours, and you could actually regain access to this. So this is huge. If you've ever lost access to your wallet and you can't get to your crypto for this reason, this will really improve this down the road. Not to mention like session keys, which essentially will make your wallet have an experience a little bit more like a Web 2.0 experience where you have session-based wallets. But finally, what I want to really highlight here is that it basically lets your wallet act like a smart contract so that it can execute code. So if you want to program multiple instructions that go through in the same go, you can do that with a smart wallet. This is a massive deal. If you've ever coded smart contracts before, you can just delegate some of these responsibilities to wallets themselves. And, that's going to enable things like subscription payments, all right, on the blockchain, which is a business model that doesn't currently work very well. If you want to create an on-chain service where people have to pay on a monthly basis, where those transactions are actually processed on autopilot, there's not a really good way to do this. And it can unlock, new use cases and business models on chain that we currently don't have access to, and that's going to be a huge deal for adoption, in my opinion. Now, there's a couple other things in this update that I want to highlight that are pretty cool. So another one is, because you have these new types of wallets, we're going to have the ability for other people to actually sponsor your transaction fees. So this is a big deal. Now, blockchains have fees for a reason. It's to prevent spam on the network. You have to pay to put new information on the blockchain, like transaction data, for example. But this can actually unlock a model for dApps that's been talked about for a very long time that hasn't ever been executed well, which is basically an application paying a user's transaction fees, or anybody for that matter, but particularly for applications. So let's say you want to go use a dApp and you don't have any money in your wallet. Well, you could basically get onboarded onto that for free and start signing transactions, and the application could actually pay those fees for you. It could also be a strategy to essentially lower gas fees on the actual chain itself. It also opens the door to be able to sponsor transactions paid in a different cryptocurrency than what's native to the blockchain network. So it's a huge thing that can open up a ton of new possibilities that currently aren't possible on Ethereum or any blockchain for that matter. And it can open up the door for a ton of new models that we currently don't have. And I'm really excited to see where that could take us. Now, the final thing that's going to be a big deal is that this can also let validators, basically the people who run the Ethereum network, stake more than 32 Ether. Now, a lot of people watching this video are not going to relate to that because it's like, well, I don't have 32 Ether sitting around to run a validator. Okay, and even if I did, I wouldn't park it in a computer. All right, but it is actually a pretty big deal because currently, if you have more than 32 Ether, let's say 64 Ether, you have to run 2 different validators to essentially like get passive income on, okay? But you can't stake like 33 Ether natively on the network. What this is going to allow you to do is increase the number to some arbitrary amount up to a really high number. I can't remember what it is, but that's going to be a big deal for the blockchain as well. All right, so when is this going to happen? Well, what you have to understand is this Petra upgrade was designed to have a bunch more stuff in it, but is actually split up into 2 upgrades. All right, so the first one's going to be Petra. I'll talk about the other one in a second. But this first set of changes that I'm talking about is supposed to roll out very soon. From what we're understanding is mid-March of 2025. So that's less than 6 weeks from the time of recording this video. That's really soon, okay? Now, what you have to understand is we don't have an exact date for this. They typically don't announce that until it's ready to come out. Again, there could be some possibility this actually gets pushed back a little bit, but that's the current estimate. And usually when they set people's expectations for, exact dates, roughly, we tend to get something pretty close to that, all right? So that's my current expectations is mid-March, and that's the date that you should mark for your calendars. Now, like I was saying a second ago, this is the first half of the upgrade that was supposed to be a bigger upgrade. They split into 2. The other one is going to be the Fusaka upgrade, which is going to be the next step in the roadmap like I was talking about before. It's Probably unlikely that we'll see any action on Fusaka till the later part of this year, perhaps early into 2026. It's got a lot of things like performance enhancements for the blockchain, not a ton of feature unlocks that I'm, really watching out for. It's going to get a little bit faster. The blockchain is going to decrease from like 13 seconds roughly to maybe 8 seconds, which could be a, quality of life boost. What I'm most excited for is, the upgrades that are coming down the pike, a few years down the road, finalizing in the Beam chain. All right. This is going to take us to like Ethereum 3.0. We're not supposed to call it that, but I think that name is probably going to stick. And so basically, this is going to be a set of incremental upgrades like we're talking about, but it's finally going to have this quantum leap to bring it to its final form. And we're going to see a lot of big benefits like the reduction of staking requirements from Ether from 32 Ether, which is pretty inaccessible for almost everybody, down to like 1 Ether, all right, which still could be a lot in the future, but a lot more people could afford to do that than 32. Also, the ability to bring the hardware requirements down to run validators, which could increase the decentralization of the network, make it much easier for you to do staking, at home. Things like introducing zero-knowledge proofs into the consensus layer. That unlocks a ton of zero-knowledge use cases. And overall performance increases like making it faster, faster block finality, and just overall huge quality of life boost people want to see in order to onboard people to mass adoption. Now, finally, what could this do to the price of Ether? Okay, so obviously nothing I'm saying in this video is not financial advice, not telling you to buy or sell or hold any cryptocurrency based on this information, but let's do a little bit of speculating. So nobody's got a crystal ball to know exactly what's going to happen. We can look at past upgrades, to see what has happened to the price around those types of upgrades. We can look at things like the Ethereum merge, EIP 1559 going live and things like that. So a lot of this, unfortunately is going to be dependent on where we are in the market cycle. Currently we're in the middle of a bit of a dip in crypto, and, hopefully we'll see a recovery in that pretty soon. And that could actually correspond pretty nicely to the announcement and the rollout of this upgrade. Okay. So if those two things coincide, it's definitely possible that we could see some positive appreciation in Ether's price. Prior to that, it's pretty common for these things to buy the rumor, sell the news. So we could see, a dump in the ETH price maybe before this upgrade really rolls out, or maybe slightly after. I don't see a ton of just fundamental reasons why this, upgrade would, affect the economics of Ether, but, there could be some speculation around the narrative of this. If we look at past upgrades like, the Ethereum merge, we definitely saw a pump in the ETH price prior to that, even though we were in the middle of a brutal bear market. But you also have to understand the magnitude of this upgrade is not really anywhere near what was happening with the Ethereum merge. We put 2 blockchains together and actually made proof of stake go live on both networks. But at the end of the day, I don't see a ton of fundamental reasons why this, upgrade would affect the economics of ETH and really affect some type of supply and demand for the cryptocurrency. If anything, it's mostly going to be trading narratives around this event. And, those are always hard to call in the future. So let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Is this going to be bullish for ETH's price? Is it going to be bearish? Is it not even going to matter? I want to hear from you. And whenever you're finished leaving your comment, make sure you smash that like button down below and subscribe. And as always, while there's some good opportunity to make money in the crypto markets by, investing in cryptocurrency and holding onto that for the long term, the absolute best way to make it in this space is to double down the technology, invest in yourself by becoming a blockchain developer so that you can increase your income in this space. And I can show you how to do that step by step from start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You really don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.